So hello and welcome back to this channel. In case you are new here, my name is Julia, and on this channel I like to do tarot pick-a cards and other types of tarot videos, and I'm also a huge astrology enthusiast, so I like to combine cards, the stars and the spirit to provide you the most accurate reading possible. And every day on Sunday, not every day but every week on Sunday, my god, it's Mercury retrograde, so excuse me people, I guess we all are somewhat affected by it. So every Sunday I map out the essential messages and events for your upcoming week, so you can enter the upcoming 7 days being prepared. And before we head into the group selection today, we will have these 3 groups here. Just a quick happy Valentine's Day to all of you, regardless if you spend that together with someone or by yourself. I just hope you really had an enjoyable, wonderful day, however you decided to spend it. And now let's hop into selecting your groups, meditate on your stones, and see you in your reading. So hello and welcome to today's group selection. Today we will have 3 groups, and let's now look up closer at each group. So this is going to be group number 1. Pretty huge stone as well. Also very raw and unpolished. Very beautiful stone. This will be group number 2. And this is magnesite with some pyrite in it. These are like these little glimmer particles that you hopefully can see reflecting in the light a little bit. And this is a very raw piece of amethyst in a very interesting shape. So now, as always, let's take our 3 deep breaths, but before that I just want to adjust the lighting a little bit so you can see more of the stones. So, as always, let's take our 3 deep breaths through our bellies, and while you are inhaling and exhaling and feeling how the air is flowing through your body, let your gaze wander across the stones and try to feel out to which one of them your gut feels drawn to. And choose more with your gut feeling than with your mind or with your eyes. And as always, if you want to and need to, you can pause the video and meditate a little bit longer on the crystals. And once you're ready, just jump down to the description box and click on the according timestamp, and see you in your reading. So hello and welcome to your reading, group number 1. So if you chose this stone right here, then this is going to be your reading. So for you, I feel like using the Zen Tarot to map out things for the upcoming 7 days for you. So I hope you've been good. I hope you've had a beautiful Valentine's Day as well. And however you decided to spend it, you know, it can be with your beloved person, it can be with family, it can be with friends, it can be all on your own, also regarding the current circumstances. Even if you have somebody in your life with whom you're with and who you love, unfortunately there are plenty of stories out there currently where people cannot be with each other either as often as they would like to, or just can't because of different regulations in different countries and the borders being basically closed. So yeah, let's now see what's ahead for you. And weird that I got like on that entire ramble here for you. I felt like doing it in a weird way. So maybe that is actually something that for some of you even is a current situation. So let's just see. And as always, take everything that resonates with you and everything that doesn't. Maybe is a message for someone else. It's a general reading, and we can not tap into every particular detail for each one of you only. So I just noticed that one of my lights went out, so guys, probably will need to adjust the lighting in this one in post. So it's Mercury retrograde. Nothing too special, I guess. So tell me guys, how has a retrograde been for you, by the way, in the comment section below. Always very interested to see how it affects others. I mean, by now I kind of know the spots where it tends to hit me. Try to do my best to kind of protect myself from that and avoid that, but it doesn't always work out. So, and for you, I already can tell, group number 1, you have healing there coming up, guidance coming up here. Guidance, healing, patience in reversed, which is the 7 of Pentacles. And it is in a position which is more of an advising one. So I think for you, group number 1, what I kind of see is that you might have been wondering maybe how you should channel your resource or where you should put your resource into. And I believe some of you, most of you, have even very particular things in mind, but you didn't dare to do it so far for whatever reason. So we also have, this was just a bad drop. Yeah, we have existence, and I'm very stuck on that existence card right now. We have adventure, which I like a lot. Like it's a very beautiful card and has a very high energy of learning and curiosity and innocence to it. So very childlike and very curious and like wandering attitude, like very fulfilled by wonder. And participation, which is 4 of Wands. And yeah, I feel that's such an interesting card to get here in this context somehow. Bottom of the deck is, by the way, self-control for you. So in reversed. And that's from the air suit in this deck. So let me just get a grasp on your entire situation here, group number 1, because I feel that for a lot of you, you might have recently either been considering or are now embarking on some sort of new learning, new skill acquirement that you need to... I feel like you have something very particular that you would like to invest, that you would like to cultivate. Like I keep getting back to this patience card here with the 7 of Pentacles, which talks a lot about right timing for things, right timing for investing your resource or honing your skill or fortifying your resource, basically. So, and it talks a lot about like things coming in cycles. Everything in life kind of has its own timing and all that jazz. So I feel that for you, that has been a very difficult point to strike so far in this matter. And with existence here, I believe this is kind of the counterpart of the Magician in this deck. So let me please check on that, because usually the Osho's deck keeps the numbering quite in the same way. Like the thing is, the existence card, I think it has popped up very rarely for me in readings. And let me just see if like anything comes. Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is the Magician here. It is the Magician, and the Magician is talking a lot about, you know, being kind of a very dualistic type of energy, which is either about building up something or destroying something in order to building up something and in order to discover the potential of things. Because the Magician, I feel, always talks in the traditional depiction, he has all these tools, basically all tools from all suits, and he has the hands pointing both to the skies and the ground. So it talks about either unearthing or channeling the potential, like from the higher divine or from the outer world, or from within and from below, from a very earth-driven energy in a sense. So in this deck, existence is depicted in a very dreamy and beautiful way. By the way, today the moon shifted from Pisces into Aries, and I feel some very high Pisces energy with this card, by the way, even though that's not an element that the Magician traditionally stands for with water. But yeah, and here also with suppression and the Ten of Wands, which Ten of Wands reversed, which talks about you not only carrying other people's burden, but also needing to lift it, needing to give it away. And it comes up for you in a very beneficial position, actually. So I feel like you guys, you have come to the point where you are trying to do this, and where you are also embracing connection with others, because the Three of Pentacles talk not only about preparing the materialization of something, but also it has this very interesting manner to kind of have these preparations with others. Not having them alone necessarily, but connecting with others in order to kind of prepare the grounds for whatever we're up to. And overall, honestly, guys, I see that this endeavor is going to be one which is gonna, I believe, give you back a lot of emotional fulfillment, but it's also something which will make you learn and discover a lot of new things. And with this existence card here, I feel that has been something that you have been craving a lot, but I think just dreaming and just kind of, you know, emerging fully in that vision of yours and really sticking to that, and really that being maybe the main element determining your everyday life, that has come very hard to you recently, I feel, group number one. So kind of focusing on your visions, or focusing on your being, focusing on what your needs really are, I feel that hasn't been an easy task for you in the recent days or weeks, even for some of you. But I feel that shifting, and I feel that all of this is basically a very learning and a very skill enhancing experience for you. So let's now see on what you can focus on best to continue on this trajectory and continue improving in this way. So here we have, and I'm using, by the way, the Druid Tarot deck for this one for you guys, because it's an earthy one, and I somehow am very driven to those earth cards that you have here in your spread. So we have the Eight of Wands in reverse here, which is in a position which talks particularly about the focus. And I feel that, again, this is kind of the decision-taking process where you want to put things into. Some of you might have figured that out. Some of you might already kind of have an idea, but not necessarily fully committed yet, or said yes to really doing that, really taking that project or goal and making that your mission. So for some of you, it's really deciding on if you want to do that, and then going fully invested in there and fully focused most of all. And for those of you who already know what this is about and you have it figured out, it definitely talks about finding focus. Find focus, and yeah, Ace of Pentacles here. It might be that some of you are needing some material resource for this, which they don't necessarily have right now. But let me just see. Yeah, the Sun in reverse. For some of you, it also might be that following this endeavor that you're up to, that might mean for you maybe compromising in terms of material stability for some time. But let's see what is the advice. So, the Hanged Man in reverse, which is, by the way, a good card to get in reverse. Personally, I think so. We have the Knight of Pentacles as back of the deck energy here. So yeah, it's kind of going to be, I feel like some of you who are really dedicating yourself to this, you might go through some sort of dry spell during that time when you are still on that learning period, which is also, honestly, looking at the current situation in the world, it's not super uncommon, unfortunately, because a lot of people are depending on either their savings currently, or are just limited in their budget slightly or severely. So I feel that that might be just something tying into this as well, but I feel in the end, with the Hanged Man in reverse there, it's gonna be something where you definitely, by putting in more of that focus and maybe compromising, let's say, I feel for some of you it might be that this is, for instance, a side thing, and going more invested or more focused in this might mean that you maybe, if you are a freelancer, you maybe need to take like 1 or 2 customers less or something, or you maybe need to decline a new project incoming, which is like, you know, it's going to be very time consuming and you're not going to get further with that matter that is meaningful to you and that you want to push forward. So you kind of end up having this decision, which is like either getting the material gain out of it and ensuring stability with that customer, or kind of declining that, sticking with your base that you have, which is supplying you well and stuff, but it's maybe going to be a little bit shorter for some period of time on material things. But instead you gain clarity and you gain more insight and more knowledge in the things that you actually need to acquire to understand in which direction all of this is going. And I'm just very interested to see what area this actually might be. So what kind of thing are you pursuing there? So Prince of Cups in this deck is the Knight of Cups. Oop. See, Mercury is messing with me. So, and the Tower. So we have the Prince of Cups and the Tower. So quite interesting situation here, because the Prince of Cups talks about, the Knight of Cups in the traditional version talks about emotional matters a lot, about creativity a lot, and creative expression also. I know that a lot of people also tend to interpret this card in some relationship context, but overall you might receive news in the closer future, in quite the, let's say even during the upcoming 7 to 10 days, you might receive news on this particular topic. Or I feel like for a lot of you guys, this is something that is very emotionally important for you. And I feel this is why also the Knight of Cups is popping up here in connection there. But also the Knight of Cups, for me at least, is always talking a lot about this messenger role and the messenger story, receiving a message. And overall, I feel that for you, it is kind of a shift happening between dealing a lot with your emotional matters and your emotional grounds, and being now pushed more into dealing with materializing things, even though these might be very creative and emotional matters and tasks or projects. But you are kind of required and pushed into the direction. And even that Tower moment, I feel that's going to be something that's just going to give you that final nudge, you know, to kind of jump into this thing and really get practical about it. So I feel for a lot of you guys, this is about getting practical about a dream, something that you want to pursue, and the upcoming days are going to be pushing you more into making this become alive. You know, not only a vision, not only something yet that you know you're capable of, but now like get your hands dirty and really see what you can do and how far you can get. And also with these aspects here with resource, I feel for some of you that might resonate. You might already have like a setup that is at least decent for things that you want to do. So it is, I think, very easy to fall into this habit of thinking, I'm not like well equipped enough, I'm not situated well enough for starting this, which is very reasonable. And I think also seeing people online sometimes to be like high-end and top-notch with their things in different areas, it kind of puts this pressure on one to be exactly in that point immediately as well, while kind of the behind the scenes of those stories kind of always is that people have gotten there usually step by step. So this is what I would also encourage you to do. But first, really put your eyes on a particular point in the horizon and then start grinding into that direction. I feel this is also with these very earthy energies, and also here with the Ace of Pentacles definitely very earth-driven energy, shifting from this very deep end to a very practical end. I feel that's a very major message for you, group number 1. So now let's see how you can take care best of yourself during the upcoming 7 days. And for that, we're going to use the Earth Magic cards. And it's a very colorful spread and reading you have here, guys. Even with the Ace of Pentacles, especially in this card, it's depicted very, very vividly and very not at all like boring or fixed or something. Like, it is fixed, and it is, you know, this huge pentacle basically hovering across everything. But you have all these colors going on there. You also have, by the way, the bear going outside the cave, which also has a lot of separate symbolism to it. So also talks about your intuition kind of coming out of the closet in a way. Also being, you know, again, connected with that timing aspect very well, because this is also something which the bear is kind of related to, just by his natural depiction. With them going into winter sleep, they kind of need to calculate on their resource, and you know that their fat basically gets them through the winter. And there's the correct time for everything during the year. So there's time to feed and to sleep, and then there's time to wake and to go out in the world again. And also, overall, the bear, I would somehow recommend you reading into bear symbolism a little bit, because the bear also kind of has a connection to the divine feminine throughout several pantheons and myths. And it's very interesting. Talks about a very grounding energy and a very protective energy as well. And this is what I was also talking about, like the intuition kind of also coming out of the cave and being more present, and maybe relying a little bit more on your gut feeling that doesn't need to be at all like only very ethereal or emotional, but sometimes can get really practical and give us a very straightforward sign if something is serving us or not. So if you have that, really listen to it. And what came out for you here in the Earth Magic cards is lake and silence. So for a lot of you guys, I feel that this earthing, grounding energy, I feel that is very important, and that is what you kind of are seeking for. Also with water depicted here, like still water, I feel a lot of you might also now, if you have frost in your area, just enjoy the water places being frozen over, standing still. I feel that might have a very calming and grounding effect on you guys. And also with silence, I feel doing some breathing work. I get like breathing work and meditation focused on your breathing might be really beneficial for you. And particularly, I get breathing a lot. And let me just maybe pull another card for you here. Because I feel you guys, you have maybe the tendency to also bulk up feelings a lot. Like really go until this bottleneck situation when you just cannot hold it anymore, and then it all bursts out. And also kind of dealing that way internally with things, that also might currently be kind of the atmosphere and the mood, how things run for you. And we have meadow and vulnerability. And this card it's really, really beautiful. I like it a lot. It's really this meadow with the different flowers, also sunflowers depicted in there, which also corresponds to the sun in the traditional version, which has sunflowers in there. It talks about embracing the two aspects of basically standing under the empty sky. It's on one hand endless freedom, on the other hand it is also being very vulnerable and unprotected and not finding any shelter to hide in case danger approaches. So it kind of carries both elements in there. But overall, I feel for a lot of you currently, some of you might be huge plant enthusiasts, so if you are like plant moms and dads, just go and take care of your babies, and I feel that is very, very soothing for you. And on the other hand, I also feel for some of you, I get revisiting maybe even travel pictures where you have this kind of scenery, which is a landscape that gives you this feeling of freedom, of vision, of just physically looking far, far up to the horizon. I feel for some of you this is a thing that might, even if it's kind of a fake approach, you know, with just some pictures and memories, but you know, our brains sometimes cannot really, they are not distinguishing so much between something really happening or seeing and picturing something. Like they are, of course, they are in certain ways, but psychologically, it will also have a beneficial effect on you. And I feel for some of you, this is somehow a thing, not for all of you, but I feel for some of you it will resonate. So group number 1, just stay strong through this one. What I also notice is here we also have a flower, and here also, so I get full bloom as well. I feel like this thing that you're onto is something where you really want to bloom into, you want to thrive in that thing. And both physically and career-wise and emotionally. But that's a journey, and you first need to get your focus on there. And I feel the upcoming 7 to 10 days are going to be very major in this, and you are going to experience a shifting moment there. So this is all I have for you, group number 1. I wish you a wonderful, productive upcoming week. Stay strong in there, and see you in the next video. Bye. So hello and welcome to your reading, group number 2. And if you chose this beautiful stone right here, then this is going to be your reading. So for you, let me see what deck I feel like using for you. I think it's going to be the Ethereal Visions one, the Illuminated Tarot. And I hope all of you had a beautiful, wonderful Valentine's Day, either together with your beloved ones or with only you and yourself. So regardless of what you did, I hope you enjoyed it and that you had a really wonderful day today. And let's now see what the upcoming 7 days have in store for you. So and with you guys, I already kind of get the energy that for you something is feeling very lifted, like as if something has been lifted after a long time. And I don't know, I hope that this resonates with some of you, but I just get this kind of this thought of it came up right initially and then kind of turned on the table. So yeah, 10 of Wands. Whatever new beginning you're onto, group number 2, just make sure that you don't end up loading other people's worries and responsibilities on yourself too much during that time. Focus more on yourself, because I feel, group number 2, that you have been through some major decision-making process recently, which has been brewing for quite some time. And it has now kind of come to completion. You've made your decision there, and if not, then I think you are in the process, but very close to reaching that point where you take a decision. And whatever you decided for, it's a new beginning for you. It's something that you want to embrace, want to explore. So don't let others' burdens weigh you down too much during that time, during the upcoming days. And what I see for you, group number 2, as well, is that you might be also someone who might cause maybe some controversy, maybe amongst your circles of friends currently, which is not like in a bad way. I feel like you are somebody who's very inspiring to people, and I feel that you also have been, you know, maybe shifting around the status quo in some things or places a lot recently, or you are doing this currently. So kind of being the friend usually in the group who's up with a very unorthodox idea, or you know, let's maybe try something completely new and not stick to our habits and stuff. Like you might be a person who's very inspiring, but on the other hand also kind of radiating that energy where people are sometimes, oh, like that's beautiful to see and that's like super wild and interesting, but a little bit too daring for me to try out. Like I feel that vibe somehow here as well. And Ten of Pentacles reversed here, the Empress reversed here. So I felt this was a bad shuffle. Yeah, Mercury is currently playing strong on me still. So we have the Lovers here. The Lovers upright, Ten of Pentacles reversed here. So bottom of the deck is the Queen of Swords reversed. And the next card, by the way, is the Knight of Wands. I'm gonna place it here. I feel like that kind of talks to each other a bit. So for you, I feel also interesting to see that like the Emperor here has this staff, which though reminds kind of the sword shape. Here we have the Knight of Wands, by the way. I thought I said Knight of Swords, but it's Knight of Wands. So yeah, what I do see, group number 2, for a lot of you, that you might have had like a not so, like in your perception, not so fortunate streak maybe when it comes to a social life recently, which is maybe due to different circumstances. I mean, we've been through, or we are like still going astrologically through quite some interesting transitions and events, to say the least, and we've been doing so also in December 2020 as well, and I feel like some of that is maybe the aftermath of that even kind of now playing out for some of you. And let me just check maybe with the Astro Dices, so influencing this. We have first house, we have the Sagittarius and Sun. So yeah, here also with the Knight of Wands, you know, it's a kind of somebody who also gives me a very Sagittarian vibe, but from that perspective, like Aries Sagittarius vibe, both of them. But also with first house, with Sun and Sag here, like it's a very ego-driven energy, that might kind of bite you in the back now in different contexts. But it doesn't have to resonate with all of you, but I feel for some of you this is a very strong thing, and this might have caused you maybe some, you know, upheavals in social life, or also at your workplace maybe, but I see it more in social life, to be honest. And if you have like close relationships at work as well, friendships and stuff, of course it might fall into the same place. But yeah. And with Knight of Wands and like Sag coming up here, I feel like you guys, and I say this with all the love that I have being a Sagittarius rising myself, you probably have been maybe running like a slightly big mouth in some situations, and I feel that this somehow is connected to this. But I also feel that a lot of people are, in fact, very much and more than the other side, appreciating and seeing the other side of you, which can be very uplifting, very positive, very radiant, very infecting, and very positive, which is something that a lot of people struggle with during the current time. And I always keep looking up to the Fool's card for you here, guys, because it is, in particularly this deck, depicted in a very sweet and bright and beautiful way, in a very creative and innocent way. So we have the Fool basically being a young dude jumping here on the cliff, and his little companion is here and going with him on the journey. In his little umbrella, he kind of has the star, the night sky in here. So basically stars and the night sky in there, and it's, you know, it's as if he kind of has like all the joy and all the beauty of the world just down like in his bag, in his hands, in his umbrella, that he's kind of embracing all of that and also embodying all of that. I feel like the energy in this particular deck with the Fool is depicted in a very lighthearted and artistic and beautiful way. And here with the Lovers, in this row with the Pentacles and the Empress here being reversed, I feel like for you also maybe when it comes down to money and material efforts, I feel like For a lot of you, for the most of you, I feel you've been doing quite some stuff in the past weeks for that. And what I get is wait for it to play out and wait for the reward. It's gonna come. It's gonna come, and and your efforts are going to be rewarded. But I feel like the major focus somehow for your reading is definitely your style of communication somehow, and your social life. I keep getting to this again and again. And let me just check why. I'm going to use the Rider-Waite Tarot for that, and we will go into the focus area here, because I feel that's going to give us quite some answers here. So, because the Queen of Swords in reverse here, and having the Knight of Wands here, I definitely feel like you might have been lacking that diplomacy that it sometimes takes to really accomplish or get through that point that you want to get through, and to convince people. Sometimes it just takes a little bit more than your enthusiasm and your fire and passion to things. Because I feel a lot of you, yeah, we have that. It came out very weirdly, like in this blocked position. It's the Hanged Man. Reversed, it talks about gaining clarity. Upright, it talks about being clouded and delusional even in a way. So depicting Neptune here. Let me see what comes up in the next rows. So we have the Lovers, second time again here. So yeah, and for some of you guys, it really might be connected to a person. And also we have Temperance here, which also depicts Sagittarius, by the way. So some of you might be Sagittarius, Sun, Moon, Rising, or Venus. Definitely feel that very, very clearly. And yeah, with the Lovers here, they come up here double. So for some of you, it also might be a relationship situation. A relationship situation where you maybe are either starting afresh in an existing relationship, or you are starting a new one, or you have had a fallout within your relationship which has, you know, maybe led to some changes and taken bigger effects in your life. So regardless what it is, I feel that things are going to improve for you during the upcoming week. It's going to be a place where I think very positive changes for you are going to play out. But let me just clarify the Two of Cups reverse there. Okay, so we have the Devil's card and the Moon coming up here. So I feel that you still need to remember, though, while I feel for you also with the Two of Swords being there, with the Lovers coming up here, and the Two of Cups being reversed there. I feel that talks a lot about balance, and I feel this is something we come down again. Also in communication, it's this thing where you kind of need to find this middle ground that is the sweet spot for things. I feel that for you guys, this is a very major task, and during the upcoming 7 to 10 days, you might experience challenges in that area. And I feel for you, what I think would really help you is really maybe reassessing and remembering what is your part and your share of things, and what is maybe where's the line and where's the boundary where others' investment, input, or emotions start and end. Like maybe reassessing that line would be helpful for you, because I also, with the twos here and also with Temperance, with the Two Cups pouring here, I feel like you are definitely people who are capable to carry out a lot and to keep up with a lot and deal with a lot. You are definitely not somebody who's easy to crush or easy to run over. Also, verbally, by the way, like I strongly get the feeling you have very strong Sagittarius placements here. But still, I feel like this particular friendship or relationship, for those of you for whom it is about a particular situation, I feel you need to be really careful there, how much you give, how much you take. Because the Devil also talks here about basically toxic cycles, also being chained down by dependencies or by addictions. The moon being in a position there which is very much indicating something also not being fully revealed to you. Take that in account. Take that in account. And also with this combination with the Hanged Man being here, I just get this strong energy, like don't let your mind get clouded in things. Like try to stay as clear and focused as possible, and really kind of find your middle ground there, balancing things out, reassessing them now and then again. Don't take others' burdens, like don't take others' burdens on too much. I get that you are a bright and helpful person and you like to support people and you like to always like lift the mood and stuff, but there is a point where you also need to see if you end up sacrificing your own excitement, happiness, and like jolliness in life for that. And instead, I'd say like really there is this thing that even that particular friendship or relationship, I feel for that person. Let me just check. So what are they drawn to in what are they drawn to in the Seekers? What are they drawn to? Yeah, the thing is that we also get the Knight of Wands again. So I feel that that person or these particular people that we are talking about, I feel that for a lot of you it's a very different situation, and this is a general reading. But basically people are attracted to you in order for these things, for your drive, for your charisma, for your fire and passion, and you're sometimes like super big mouth and stuff. Like that is something that people, they actually love that about you, and that is something that makes you very unique, and that is what people really enjoy about you. And that is like kind of a, you know, it's something that hits you in the face in like a very refreshing manner, and you are also a very passionate person, probably most likely also having a very soft spot for like creativity and crazy things. So people do love you for that, and people feel attracted to you, or that particular person does feel attracted to you for that. But that's the thing, like there you need to be careful that you don't give away all of that to others and nourish them, and don't leave any of that enthusiasm, excitement, and that beautiful energy for yourself to replenish. Like that is just something where I'd say be careful about it and take good care of that during the upcoming 7 days. So, and also be forgiving if people maybe do not necessarily respond sometimes like super well to everything you say or everything you do. Everybody's different, and as I said, what comes with your crazy and beautiful nature also is sparking sometimes controversy here and there. So let's see how you can take care for yourself best during the upcoming 7 days, group number 2. So stone creatures, awareness. Yeah, I feel that might be very beneficial for you, like keeping an eye, keeping a track on what is going on with you and your energy levels. So, and for some of you, it also, if you have that accessible in your area, just really being close to the water, close to the sea, close to the coast, going there physically might be very helpful for you. And let me also, just for a final checkup, see what energies might just influence you in the upcoming days. So we have Capricorn, we have Uranus, and fourth here. So yeah, when it comes to your like to your family life as well, group number 2, I'd say, yeah, I see you have kind of this clash between what we have here with the Emperor. I feel you just also are in the progress or process, both of that kind of. You are in the process of maybe rearranging and just revolutionizing maybe in a way just the way you see and view and take on relationships. And I feel that for the upcoming week, that's going to be kind of a major field for some of you where things play out. So I feel that some of you are maybe working on just maybe establishing things a little bit differently in your home life or your relationship life. The Emperor also is a card which can be linked to, you know, marriage and traditional family establishment. So that might be for some of you a particular thing where you will have something going on, and it will kind of have, you know, again, this a little bit explosive energy. I feel that might be the case for some of you, but I feel that all of that still, in the end, it carries for you a very, very blessing and very fulfilling result. So group number 2, thank you for tapping into this reading. I wish you a very productive and a beautiful, wild and creative week, and see you in the next video. Bye! So hello group number 3, and welcome to your reading. So if you chose this beautiful amethyst crystal right here, then this is going to be your reading. And for you, I feel like using the Druid's Tarot to map out the essential events and messages for the upcoming week. So I hope that you had a beautiful Valentine's Day today, either with someone that you love or all on your own, also someone that you love, because that should anyways come in the first place before you share the love with anyone else, you know, your friends, your spouse, your family, whomever. First make sure that you give some of that to yourself. So let's just see what's going on for you during the upcoming 7 days. Group number 3. So I have Ace of Pentacles here. Three of Wands. 7 of Swords. And 6 of Swords. Group number 3, I feel for you, whatever you are trying to escape from and whatever you are trying to run from in a way, I feel that is something that is maybe more created in your mind than it really exists. And not to like minimize it or make your struggles or issues smaller than they are. Definitely not. All of that is valid, and whatever you struggle with currently or are up for struggling maybe during the upcoming days, it is, if it's impacting you, you know, the way it's impacting you is the way how hard it is for you. But overall, a lot of that might be just really in your emotional space, in your headspace. And for you, I feel regaining focus of the situation and of your resource, your drive, that has come very hard to you. And for you, I feel you are currently going through something where things are not fully disclosed to you. And I think this is something that is very, very challenging for you. And let me just see. Yeah, the 2 of Pentacles. I feel that that is kind of here, ties into the back of the deck. Or is like a card that is overarching all of this. So, and even here, like, I didn't feel like choosing a regular back of the deck for you somehow. I just really I want to see an overarching card for all of this. And I feel like you are maybe currently even trying to balance more than you can chew, or that has been what has been going on recently. But a lot of that pressure and a lot of that, you know, inhibited and blocked feeling when it comes to exiting that situation, I feel a lot of that is very self-inflicted upon yourself due to various reasons, which I feel for a lot of you lie somewhere in the past and somewhere down there in the bottom, which is like very individual, and we cannot tap into that during a general reading. But here also with the Knight of Wands being reversed, are in this position, and the Queen of Cups being reversed here, I feel like using some of that effort that you've been putting into escaping that situation for like some introspection and insight, and putting that force inwards and toning down that runaway instinct and impulse that you've tried to follow and that hasn't necessarily led you into the successful place that you were hoping it would lead you. Like, I feel like for you, you were expecting some sort of relief out of that, and it just didn't happen. It didn't happen. You might feel still stuck in the same cycle with those things, and like a madman, even like looking for another way to escape this, another way, while it probably, a lot of that really lies exactly in that obsession to run away from it. And I cannot like point down what exactly that is for you guys here. So let me just see, what is it that, well, let me use the shadow cards for that. So what is that group number 3 is bothered by so much? So, and it's also Mercury retrograde, you know, a lot of things that we kind of try to work away, and the way how we sometimes try to silence a lot of our thoughts or things that are just too difficult to deal with, too annoying to deal with, too painful to deal with in our everyday lives. Like we silence that, and we have our mechanisms for doing that, and that's perfectly healthy psychology functions there. But Mercury retrograde tends to bring that out. So let me just see. Number 3. Number 3. So let me just see. So we have that, and now let's shuffle these again. So, colorless angel. Yeah, that card talks a lot about, let us just check the text with that, because this book usually contains like really interesting nuggets of thought and just quite interesting quotes. So it's better not to feel rather than feeling pain. So goes, I think, ties in nicely with what I expressed before this. So and if you look closely into the card, like you can see how you have a young man sitting there, like a young elf-like creature, but it is all blonde and gray. And then in the background you can see like a dark horse approaching unnoticed by this man kneeling at the pond. And basically you have all these smokes and mirrors there, and that person, which is depicted there, being more of a shadow of himself, which I think very much is what you can see here. Like he's more of a colorless blonde shadow of himself than actually probably what he really is or used to be. And let's just look into the text. So apathy is the crowned king of nothingness and the shining queen of whatever. So we can be Siegfried, the dragon-slaying hero, but not when he slays the dragon, nor when he is betrayed and dies, but when he is simply doing nothing. We can be Michael the archangel, while he waits bored and motionless, and St. George, surprised in a moment of stillness and nothingness. All the strong rivers can become a swamp when they reach the plains, and the most yummy food can become gummy after a couple of hours unattended on a table. There is a lot of darkness when we make the habit of going grey. We numb our senses with a fog of delays, and then we just get indifferent to the fog herself. I'm here, we whisper. And if, by a very tiny chance, someone notices and replies and asks, "Who's there?" we become shy, and we stay silent a little more. You cannot be saved unless you face the dragon, and the dragon hurts. Of course it does. So wow, this is like, to me, every time a little bit astonishing how much things sometimes are in tune here when I do these. So I feel for some of you it is really working through things that you have been pushing aside and neglecting maybe for some while, and it has become a habit. And now when you try even to tap back into the feeling of like clearly identifying that that is something that actually disturbs you or hurts you or is something you wanted to deal with, you kind of have forgotten that it is something that bothers you even, which though is not like necessarily the best sign in this situation. So let me just see now what you could focus on, and for that, let me see, let's use the Zen Tarot. So what should group number 3 focus on? Now, see. So, we are the world is that card here. It's 10 of Pentacles. And then we have comfort, basically commodity in a way. So basically in a way, patience. Patience, but just, you know, patient acting, the act of patience. Taking it slow. So, and participation with the Four of Wands here. So I think that for you, actually this thing here, that moment when you understand that you maybe cannot, with your usual patterns and mechanisms, escape this feeling, this situation, this whatever you need to deal with, I feel that carries the potential to embrace maybe a little more of that patient attitude with yourself. We also have morality as the back of the deck here. Which also talks about seeing things with a rational mind, and on the other hand also not feeling restricted by it and not complying to it until an extent when it gets hurtful for ourselves, and where it like cuts out particular emotions, or when we start saying to ourselves we are not allowed to feel this and that if we want to be productive, or if we want to be functional, this and that feeling is kind of, you know, not in the correct place. Because I feel some of you might have been kind of walking with that attitude recently, and I feel the upcoming days will give you a chance to go a little bit more easy in these things on yourself and tap into also connecting with others on this. And I feel like for you, this is going to be a time where you kind of can maybe reignite your fire a little bit. So let me just see, for you, I feel like also checking maybe the music cards. Though I didn't feel that I'm going to use them today, but for you guys, I feel like also with we are the world, with the 10 of Pentacles here, the 10 of Rainbows in this deck, and it's depicting all these people dancing around the globe, basically. I feel that feeling of unity and that feeling of connection with the rest of the world, and also with like-minded people, and with your family, with your friends. Kind of getting back into those meaningful connections is something that might really like ignite your emotions again, and it might maybe kind of open up that bottled up stuff that you just needed to keep for whatever reasons, you know. Sometimes it's because we kind of don't have the time and don't have the resource to deal with these things. Sometimes it is also that we just, yeah, basically I think this not having a resource thing is very important. And I even had like a conversation with a friend some time ago where we talked about this, that dealing with our emotional things and things in life overall, it requires a particular type or combination of resources, and it's totally okay to not open those Pandora's boxes until we feel we have that resource. So yeah, I feel for you, group number 3, you are facing your reignition probably during the upcoming days. And for the musicians, I usually like to pull several cards so we get a vivid playlist here. But interesting, with Beethoven, like you've got Beethoven, you've got Iggy Pop, and you've got Ravi Shankar. With Ravi Shankar, I instantly needed to think of that like dancing aspect and connecting aspect, because that type of music is like extremely, on one hand, to Western ears, let's say, a lot of the tonalities and a lot of the measurements in Oriental music, by the way, are extremely unusual, and yet we can enjoy them. The thing is that people that grow up with this type of music build-up, they have a particular way about dancing and moving and all, and it might be first hard to grasp for us in our bodies how to do that, but it is honestly, to a Western ear, all of this is super odd, but we still can find joy in it, and it's very surprising to us, even though playing that, for instance, is first off a total nightmare if you are not used to it and you really need to work your way in it. But then once you are in that, you kind of see the organic feeling in that and stuff. So it's interesting. It's basically music that is very much made for getting you moved. So with Beethoven, we have one false tone is, or one tone off is meaningless, but playing without passion is unexcusable. So I feel like you guys, some of you might have closed off both with that emotional stuff. In that same crate, you might have unfortunately also put some of your passion. So I feel that is about to be unboxed again. And another quote from his card is, listen, the fate is knocking up on the door, and also direct your symphony in silence. So very, very interesting quotes when it comes to, I think, all those issues that we have discussed here, and how to move on from that, and I feel like how much solitude and connection sometimes are not so different from each other. I feel that also talks about that. Like, but both of that is containing the element of you need to tap back into your feelings. And with Iggy Pop we have don't waste any time with growing up, and make art out of rejection. And when you need inspiration, sneak up upon her and surprise her. And with Ravi Shankar we have read and play, always between the lines. So yeah, also I feel kind of talks to these oddities and odd measurements that I was talking about. So your true nature shows in silence, and music is the infinite room between two souls, the infinite space between two souls. So I think very, very beautiful quotes that I don't even feel the need to add to much more. And group number 3, I feel that for you it is a lot about like both embracing, maybe again putting yourself first a little bit more. On the other hand, understanding that a lot of the things that are still valid, and they feel valid, and they are, but a lot of those things are actually dependencies or burdens that you have implied and inflicted on yourself, and that you need to actively go out of, drop, and or you know, maybe set aside. So group number 3, I hope that you stay safe during the upcoming 7 days, get well through your upcoming week. Put those 3 guys, Ravi Shankar, Iggy Pop, and Van Beethoven, on a playlist and mash through it depending on your moods. And you know, I just get all the time this thing like with dancing. Get out dancing, get your body moving a little bit, and I hope you really can reignite your spark there. And stay safe, stay well, and see you in the next video. Bye!